Well, this story is about a place that used to be a place called Horse Hammock in Avon Park on Arbuckle Creek. It was owned by a retired major from the Air Force. A man my dad worked with and several other families. Mr. Dawson Sauls that worked with my dad, he knew the major. And as far as I understand, that's how it went. He knew him. The major would let him camp over there, and some other people. Well, they allowed us to camp over there also. So there was a group of us. There was, I think there were 6 or 8 families altogether. And from the summer of 1973 until 1980, we camped over there regular. Dad and them had to work every other weekend, and a lot of the weekends they were off. The summertime, especially, and a lot of them in the winter, we would go to Horse Hammock. And see, there was Dawson Saul and his wife, Miss Carlene. Then there was Mr. Ed and Marie James. There was Mr. and Mrs. Ralph Parks. There was a man named Pim Hawkins, and I can't remember his wife's name. Diane, I ain't sure what it is. So anyways, then there was the Shears. 2 families of Shears. There was Bobby Shear and his wife, I can't remember her name, and they had Bo, Rodney, and Wayne Shear, and they had a daughter named Sandy. Then there was Mr. Billy Shear, and I think her name was Miss Phyllis. And then they had a son named Bill Shear. And we'd all let's see, the Shear families, they had airboats, and quite a few of them. They had 4 or 5 airboats. And so they would put in there at the Arbuckle Creek at they had a little homemade boat ramp there at Horse Hammock. And they'd put them airboats in, and everybody else would fish. Families would fish, had boats and all. They'd go down the creek and fish. And it'd get low water during the summertime sometime, and you'd have to drag the boats across some sandbars, and water would be low. But let me tell you something about this right here. Let me tell you about this here. They forevermore did they catch shell crackers and stump knockers, brim, you name it. Occasionally some catfish. Just about every single time everybody went and they come back in Saturday morning, everybody had a mess of fish. A good mess. So that meant Saturday night or evening, there was a big fish fry. And man, let me tell you about this here. I will never forget them hush puppies. All them little goodies. I had baked beans, what all, you know, all the women would come up with. Grits, cheese grits, you name it. But I mean, it wasn't nothing but good times. You know, and I was 12, I think, when we started going, and I was 18 when we quit going. So, you know, as a teenage boy, I pretty much grew up like that. And, oh yeah, every morning, the weekend, Saturday, Sunday over there, and we spent weeks vacations over there also. But anyways, everybody, they would go out fishing in the mornings, in the boats and their boats and all that. And I didn't want to go fishing. I would go fishing once. Mama and I would go in the boat sometimes, and I'd bass fish. I thought I was old Bill Dance at that time. You know, just a teenager. So anyways, they would all go fishing. Well, I would strike out and I'd hit the woods. And I'd walk them sand hills, pines and palmettos. And, you know, I was green as anything in the world about the woods. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know absolutely nothing. But I would just walk, and I'd walk all morning long. Just walk and look at deer tracks and, you know, tracks, and just walk all over that place, miles and miles. And I realized I was trespassing but at that time, you know, I wasn't bothering a soul in the world. I was just walking. And that was unbelievable. Anyways, I'll continue this story on down the road. Go Gators.